The 2026 Jaguar XF is not just a car, it is the culmination of 73 years of suppressed British emotion, repressed tea-fueled ambition, and unresolved debates about the superiority of Earl Grey over English breakfast, all distilled into a four-door machine that practically sips its own pinky out while accelerating. Designed entirely in a top-secret subterranean chamber somewhere beneath the last known resting place of Winston Churchill's monocle, the XF is crafted not by engineers, but by a council of ex-royal tailors, retired MI6 agents, and one extremely opinionated corgi named Basil who barks twice for leather and once for vegan Alcantara. At first glance, the 2026 XF appears to be made of aluminum, but in truth, it is forged from a proprietary alloy known only as Oxbridgium, a material so rare that it can only be found inside discarded Oxford dissertations, rare Dickens first editions, and lost episodes of Downton Abbey. The body lines of the XF are said to have been inspired by the cheekbones of 1960s British supermodels and the aerodynamic properties of a falling stone, giving it a drag coefficient of barely a suggestion. Beneath its bonnet, which automatically opens with a discreet whisper of ahem, lies an entirely new power plant, a twin electric motor setup paired with a small batch, hand-whisked hydrogen fusion reactor, cooled by chilled sarcasm and filtered rainwater from the Scottish Highlands, allowing the XF to reach 0 to 60 mph in just 2.9 seconds, or in imperial terms, a jolly brisk trot. Old sport, however, speed is not the point. The XF's true magic lies in its ability to negotiate roundabouts with the diplomacy of a Victorian butler. Never rushing, always knowing, and subtly correcting lesser cars with the mere raise of an LED eyebrow. Step inside and you are greeted not by mere ambient lighting or a touchscreen, but by an entire interior experience co-curated by the BBC, the Royal Shakespeare Company, and one very avant-garde perfumer from Notting Hill who specializes in emotional scent therapy. The leather, if one dares to call it that, is derived from ethically massaged cows that listen exclusively to Chopin, while the carpets are woven by blind monks in Kent using strands of hair from Westminster Abbey choirboys during Lent. The infotainment system, dubbed Lord Infotain, does not just play media or display maps. It delivers impassioned soliloquies, recites romantic poetry based on traffic patterns, and reads the news aloud in the voice of Sir David Attenborough during peak hours, and Judi Dench during off-peak. The center console doesn't merely store belongings, it opens like a Fabergé egg and reveals a mini greenhouse containing a living bonsai tree that adjusts its leaf alignment based on your emotional state and the Dow Jones Index. The gear selector has been replaced by a 3D printed crystal orb filled with ancient oak smoke that swirls dramatically every time you change drive modes, which include elegance, subtle superiority, assertive Earl, and full Winston. Voice commands are no longer a gimmick. The XF listens, ponders, and responds thoughtfully, offering you career advice, romantic feedback, or suggestions for weekend brunch spots that pair well with your current tire pressure. Speaking of tires, each Pirelli Whisper Sport tire contains an active noise-canceling chip that hums hymns from the Anglican Church at precisely 22 Hz to drown out existential dread and potholes. Jaguar's new dynamic conscience stability system ensures the car never accelerates past a nun or cuts off a pensioner, as it uses moral calculus and a code of chivalry to inform every turn. The panoramic roof is etched with constellations specific to your birth chart, and automatically dims whenever Mercury is in retrograde to protect your chakras, should you find yourself in a moment of despair or confusion, perhaps upon realizing you paid $183,000 for a sedan that serves clotted cream from the glove box. Simply press the Reflect button, and the cabin fills with soft Gregorian chants while the windows mist over to simulate a thoughtful British fog, helping you come to terms with your life choices. For parking, the XF doesn't beep like a commoner. Instead, it gently remarks, "I do believe you're getting rather close to that hedge, sir," while simultaneously contacting your insurance provider, therapist, and local gardener just in case. And yes, the 2026 XF is fully autonomous, though instead of taking over with cold, robotic precision, it assumes control like a well-mannered chauffeur named Reginald, who addresses you as "my lord" or "my lady," and offers light conversation or dignified silence, depending on your horoscope. For safety, the XF includes a phalanx of airbags filled with heirloom lavender, deployable side curtains embroidered with your family crest auto-generated based on your driving style, and a rear-view mirror that gently reminds you to sit up straight, call your mum, and take more risks in life, emotionally, not on the road. There's also an optional add-on called Jaguar Prestige Presence, a holographic projection that precedes your vehicle by 10 feet, displaying a stylized version of yourself in full ceremonial garb. waving gracefully to other motorists and causing nearby Teslas to short-circuit in mild shame. The XF is not charged via traditional means but rather draws power from the ambient admiration of onlookers, light applause, and solar panels hidden in its bespoke Union Jack pinstripes. And should you ever get lost, the navigation system doesn't just reroute you, it gently guides you back on track while explaining the cultural significance of the wrong turn you just took, sometimes offering a relevant quote from Austen or Orwell for good measure. And finally, when you park the 2026 Jaguar XF and walk away, the car doesn't just lock, it bids you farewell with a discreet puff of bergamot-scented vapor, adjusts its mirrors to admire itself, and softly plays the national anthem of the United Kingdom as a fox trots by in approval. In conclusion, the 2026 XF is less of a car and more of a philosophical companion, a vehicular embodiment of British refinement, 21st century eccentricity, and the lingering ghost of every butler who ever served nobly. It doesn't just take you places, it takes you somewhere slightly better than reality, like a Richard Curtis film where the roads are always damp, but never dirty, the music is always string-led, and the ending is always charmingly British.